When was the last time you lost? Maybe a game, a business deal, or even a relationship. Probably didn't feel good. Losses don't. Now, if you can, try to remember what you did immediately after you experienced that loss. I'll come back to that in a minute. What if I told you there was something that you could do that would ensure that you would always win? That's Wicked Tip 5 for creating a growth environment. And it's probably not what you're thinking. Here it is. Failure is my friend. What? You're saying, well, how is failure conducive to growth? Well, the failure itself isn't, but it's what you do with the failure. You've probably heard people say, experience is the best teacher. I don't believe that, because if that were the case, the person who was stopped for speeding wouldn't do it again, or the person who was driving drunk and had an accident wouldn't do that again. But we all know people who, and we do it ourselves, make the same mistakes over and over and over. Experience isn't the teacher. Evaluated experience is. But that takes time, energy, effort, and humility. Humility is so crucial to being able to really evaluate and learn from an experience, because it opens our eyes and broadens our perspective so that we're not so focused on, justifying ourselves and looking good. So back to that thing that you did the last time you experienced a loss. How did having an attitude of humility, a willingness to learn from that loss, come into play? True confession, for me, oftentimes it takes longer than I care to admit before I can get to that point. It's amazing how humility helps us to have a clearer, more realistic view of ourselves. And that is when we can really learn and grow. If, however, we hang on to those negative past experiences, failures, ours or those of other people, and allow it to warp our future, it's a little like living in a coffin. Puts a lid on you and can end your life, and will definitely destroy the morale on your team. So what can you do to ensure that you'll always win and create that growth environment? It's being certain in whatever your role that you're willing to have the humility to learn from your losses. See, when you're truly able to embrace failure as your friend, and maybe even get to the place where you can say, the person who fails the most wins, that's when you're setting the example for the people around you that will allow them to fail without fear of humiliation or shame or finger pointing. When you're able to do that, you will always win. Watch for Wicked Tip number 6 tomorrow. Stay tuned so you can bloom.